सो हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज से जितने भी टेस्ट अपन लेंगे, जो भी आप मुझे टेस्ट के बाद डाउट्स भेजेंगे, उन सबको अपन एक क्वेश्चन को एक वीडियो के थ्रू यहाँ पे उनके सोल्यूशंस देना चाहेंगे। तो आज जितने भी क्वेश्चंस स्टूडेंट्स ने मुझे भेजे थे, उन सबके मैं अभी सोल्यूशन आपके सामने लेके आ रहा हूँ। देखिए, थर्ड क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, द ओनली फोर्स दैट एक्ट्स ऑन अ 2 kg body as it moves along the positive x-axis has Fx equal to minus 6x Newton. Where x is in meter, the velocity at x equal to 3 is 8 meter per second. You have to find the velocity at 4. So it's a straight away question of your work energy theorem. Simply you will say W net is equal to delta K. And W net is Fx dx, that is minus 6x dx, and you will put the limit from 3 to 4, and that would be equal to half m. Speed at x equal to 4 square, let's say v square, and initial speed at x equal to 3 is 8 square. So if I solve it, so what we will get, minus 6x integration, if we do, it comes out as minus 3x square from 3 to 4, that is half into mass, which is 2, into v square minus 64. So this we can cancel up. So what we have, minus 3 into 16 minus 9 I can have here. This is v square minus 64. So what you can write, 16 minus 9 is 7, 7 into 3 is 21. So v square is 64 minus 21. So it is 4 minus 1, 3, 6 minus 2, that is 4. So v is root of 43. So that would be something upon between 6 and 7, you can make it out. So 6.6 would be the only appropriate one. Now the fifth one, this is a question asked in JEE Main 2014. When a rubber band is stretched by a distance x, it exerts a force, restoring force of magnitude ax plus bx square, where a and b are constant. The work done in stretching the unstretched rubber band by L is. So this is a restoring force, so this is opposite to the displacement. So the external force for stretching it should be equal to this, but opposite to it. So external force would be along the direction of displacement, and therefore I can write it as ax plus bx square, and the work done would be by this force is F external dx I can do. So it is ax plus bx square dx if and stretch it from 0 to L. So what we will get, this is al square by 2 it becomes, and it becomes bl cube by 3. So this is al square by 2 plus bl cube by 3. So you can go with option C here. The figure gives the potential energy function for a system in which a particle is in 1D motion, in which region the magnitude of the force on the particle is greatest. Now it's a conceptual thing. It is just asking magnitude of force. So you need not to decide whether it is positive or negative. You have to just check the magnitude, and the ux curve is given. So we know F is equal to minus du by dx. So the magnitude of the force will be given by magnitude of the slope. That means steepest region will have the greatest of the force. So here the slope is 0, so here the force is 0. Here the slope is negative, so force will be positive. Here force will be negative, but the magnitude here definitely seems to be greater than the at AB, because steepness is more. So go for option D, CD region. A golf ball hits a wall and bounces back at 3/4 the original speed. So you can see it, let's say, hits with V0 and it bounces back with 3 V0 by 4. So what part of the kinetic energy is lost? So first of all, what is the energy lost? Lost energy you always write as initial minus final, that you can write as half m v0 square minus half m into final speed, which is 3 v0 by 4 whole square. So I can write it as half m v0 square. I can take it as common. It is 1 minus 9 by 16. So if I had to do the fraction loss, that would be delta k loss upon k initial. So that would be this divided by half m v0 square. So that would be 1 minus 9 by 16, that is 7 by 16. So most of the students did mistake, they take option D. So it is the lost part it is asking, not the remaining one. Figure gives the acceleration a of a 2 kg body as it goes from rest along x-axis. It should be rest along x-axis, while a variable force acts on it from 0 to 9. Work done by the force when it reaches till 7. So till 7 work done would be this area. You can say this area will give you a dx, but what we know that the work done is equal to f dx, that is mass times area. This a dx from 0 to 7 you need to do. So if I calculate this area, so this area, if you will calculate, what you can have, this is the trapezium. So half into one length is 5, the other length is 3 into 6, plus again the till 7 again you can have this trapezium thing. What you can have, 2 plus 1 into, again this is minus 6. So what we'll have, 8 by 2, 6 into 4 you can have as 24 joules. So this is 24 you are getting, and this would be minus 3 3s are, you can do 3 3s are 9. So 24 minus 9 you can go for. So 24 minus 9, if I am doing it correctly, yes, 2 plus 1 3, 3, 18 by 2 9. So 24 minus 9, that is equal to 15 joules. So this is the mistake you can do. It is not 15 joule, this is a dx only. So for the work done you have to multiply it by 2 also. So 15 2s are, that would be 30 joules. So answer would be A, because m has to also to be multiplied. So don't do this mistake. So you might see 15, it's good that 15 is not given as answer. So it would be 15 times 2, that is 30 joules. Next. Now this question many of you have done it wrong. Now see it. In 1 second a particle goes from point A to point B moving in a semicircle. The magnitude of the average velocities. So just see, it goes from A to B like this in a semicircle. What is asked? The magnitude of the average velocity. So just recollect, while going from A to B, I can say what is the distance traveled. Distance traveled is pi into r, while the displacement, you all know, this is a very standard question you have done even in class 9, that is 2r. So what would be average speed? Average speed, you can write it as average distance pi r upon time. Time is 1 second, so that comes out as 3.14 meter per second here. So which is option A. But you are asked magnitude of average velocity. So magnitude of average velocity, you know, mod of average velocity is mod of displacement upon time taken. So mod of displacement is 2 into 1, time taken is 1, so that would be 2.0 meter per second. So the average velocity magnitude would be B, average speed magnitude would be A. 16th, a dart is thrown horizontally towards x at 20 meter per second. As shown, it hits y 0.1 second later. So what happens? You have thought that it will go straight, but because of gravity it drifts. So what is this drift? So we can directly say, because all the speed is along x-axis, so initial speed in y-axis is 0, taking this as x-axis and this is y-axis. So displacement in y, you can directly use uyt plus half gt square, because acceleration would be free fall g. So that is half into 10 into 0.1 whole square. So it comes out as 5 into 0.01, so it comes out as 0.05 meters. You can take option A. Next. Two bodies of masses 10 and 20 are attached to a spring balance as shown the reading of the balances. So for this question I had told you always treat it like, let's say this is simply a system like this, treat there is only a string. Don't think that this is spring balance, and just imagine if this would be the case, this is 10 kg, this is 20 kg, what would be the tension in the string? That tension in the string will be the spring balance reading. That is the equivalence you can do, and here you will know the system won't be balanced. It will go with A acceleration here, it will go with A upwards, and the magnitude of acceleration you can directly say, but that would be 20g minus 10g upon total mass to be pulled, that is 20 plus 10, that is 30. So what you get? You get it as 200 minus 100, 100 by 30, that is 10 by 3 meter per second square. And tension, for tension you can draw FBD of anyone. Let's say for this one, what I can write, this is T minus this mg, so T minus 10g is equal to 10 into A. So T would be equal to 10g, that is 100 plus 10 into 10 by 3, that is 100 by 3. So 100 plus 100 by 3, that is 400 by 3 newtons. So if it is calibrated to read in kg, it would be 40 by 3 kg you can do. Next. Now this is a very beautiful conceptual question. An example of an inertial reference frame is, now you know in an inertial frame, for a body for whom no force is acting, its acceleration must be 0, and if its acceleration is 0 with respect to an inertial frame, it will also be an inertial frame. So any reference frame that is not accelerating, now this is dubious, because who has given the certificate that it is not accelerating? If it was not accelerating with respect to an inertial non-inertial frame, then it would have been correct. Here it is doubtful. A frame attached to a particle on which there are no forces. So on a particle on which there are no forces, definitely its acceleration with respect to a reference frame will be 0, inertial frame will be 0, so it will also be an inertial frame, that's for sure. Any reference frame that is at rest, again the question is with respect to whom. A reference frame attached to earth, you know, ideally speaking, reference frame attached to earth is never an inertial frame, so option B will be the answer. This is a question I used to ask to our students from last 12 years. Every time, every batch we have taught, we have asked this question, and this is a very good conceptual question. Next. A baseball is thrown by the center fielder from shoulder level to home plate, where it is caught by the catcher. At what point does the magnitude of the vertical velocity component of velocity as at minimum? You know the vertical velocity is minimum at the highest point. That's a very easy thing. So it is at the top of the trajectory. At the top of the trajectory, the vertical component of the velocity becomes 0. Next, a block is launched up an inclined plane. After going up the plane, it slides back down to the starting position, and there is friction between the block and the plane. The speed of the block when it reaches the starting position on the trip down. So you know, you throw it with some speed v0. When it goes up, you know friction will act backwards, and when it will again come back, when it will go down, it will again acts upwards. So in both the parts, friction does negative work. Negative work means it basically takes out the energy. So definitely when it again comes back to this bottom position, because the energy is lost, potential energy is still the same because height is same, but because of the work done by friction, there will be loss in kinetic energy, and definitely while returning back, its speed will be lesser than the launching speed. So you can simply say, using work energy theorem, it would be option B. You can remember here, in both the trips, upward or downward friction is doing negative work. Next, light string goes over a smooth light pulley. This is the question I have asked from AIEEE 2002. Connects two blocks of masses m1 and m2 like this. Let's say this is m1 and let's say this is m2, and let it be like this. This is m1 and this is m2. If the acceleration is g by 8, let's say m1 is heavier, so this goes with acceleration a, this goes with acceleration a upwards. We know acceleration will then be written as net pulling force along the length of the string m1 minus mg minus m2g divided by total mass to be pulled. So it is given as g by 8, so g by 8 is m1 minus m2 upon m1 plus m2. I can take g as common and I can cancel it up. So what we will have, m1 minus m2 is 8 m1 plus 8 m2. So now what you have what I can write, this would be 9 m2 is equal to 7 m1. So this m1 by m2 thing would be 9:7. So go with option B here. Next, block of 0.1 kg is held against a wall applying a horizontal force of 5 Newton on the block. So let's say this is a wall, this is a block, it is held against it by applying a force of 5 Newton. So you know its weight mg would be 0.1 into 10, that is 1 Newton. So definitely if it is held, that friction is Fs must be equal to 1 Newton, and it should be equal to mu s n, and normal will be generated because of this 5 Newton force. So normal would be equal to 5 because it is not breaking the wall. So 1 should be less than equal to mu s, that is 0.5 into n. N is what you have, 5, that is 2.5. Yes, it is satisfying. So the force acting would be 1 Newton, or to be better 0.98 Newton if I take g as 9.8. So it would be 0.98 Newton. That would be the more appropriate one. Body of 2 kg placed on the horizontal surface having kinetic friction 0.4, static friction 0.5, if the force applied is 2.5. So just first of all check what is Fs max. So you know n here, a standard case would be mg, that is 20. So Fs max, the maximum force, limiting force that can act, is 0.5 into 20, that is 10. And the applied force is definitely less than Fs max, that means block won't move. Fs acts and actual Fs would be equal to the applied force, that is 2.5 Newton. Go with option D. Let theta denote the angular displacement of a simple pendulum oscillating in a vertical plane as shown. If the mass of the bob is m, the tension in the string is mg cos theta, where? So you know the general expression we write for this pendulum case like this. If it is at theta and let's say it is going with speed v, so what we can say, if I draw the FBD, there will be mg and there will be t, and because it is going in a circular path, we say the force towards the center, that is t minus mg cos theta, is equal to mv square by r. So t in general is equal to mg cos theta plus mv square by r. So tension can be equal to mg cos theta only when this term is 0, that is when speed is 0, and that is at the extreme position. So it is only at the extreme position we can write. 42, if you remember, we have covered it even in our class examples. Just look, this is total length 3 meter placed on a rotating table. The axis of the rotation is 1 meter from 1 kg mass, 2 meter from 2 kg mass. Angular speed is 4, ground below 2 is smooth and below 1 is rough. The force of friction on 1 kg block is, okay. So because below this is smooth, this surface is smooth, so whatever centripetal force is needed would have to be generated by tension. So tension would be equal to 2 kg into omega square you have as 16 into radius, that is 2. That comes out as 64 Newton. So that means from on this block also tension T will act 64 Newton, and let's say what is the force required. The force required m into AC for this would be equal to 1 into omega square 16 into radius 116 Newton. So it needs only 16 Newton, but the tension is applying 64. So to compensate this 64, this friction will act here, static friction, and what you will have, T minus Fs would be equal to 16. So Fs would be equal to 48 Newton, and it is acting outward. So go for option B in this case. Next, this is a very standard case whenever you put a hanger on a rope containing your shirt, or this is a circus performer like this, what would happen to the tension? So in this case, assuming it like it dips by a very small angle like this. So let's say taking this symmetry, let's say this angle is theta, this angle is theta, what we can have, TT acts here and this W acts here. So for the balance of this, you know this T, if I do this, this angles will also be theta. So what we can write, say for the balance 2T sin theta is equal to W, or T is equal to W upon 2 sin theta. And here you know if theta is very small, which is the real case, because theta is very small, sin theta will be very small, and sin theta is very small, it is going to be less than 1, so tension is definitely going to be greater than the weight. So always remember, whenever you apply this perpendicular force to the length of the string, the tension generated is much greater. So always remember this particular concept. So this is a very nice idea. So it would be much less than, not less than, much more than W. Next, which of the following statement is false? This question you must have done. You always remember, just see the option B. An object can have a constant velocity and still have a varying speed. No, velocity constant means its magnitude and direction both are constant. So if velocity is constant, it means it will have a constant speed. It cannot have a varying speed. So this is false. B is false. Rest all are correct. You can make it out yourself. Now 45th is a very important question. Just remember, in a 1D motion, if velocity and acceleration both are in same direction, the speed will increase, whether they are both positive or both are negative. It means like आप आगे जा रहे हो, धक्का आगे लग रहा है, आप पीछे जा रहे हो, धक्का पीछे लग रहा है, दोनों केस में आपकी स्पीड बढ़ेगी, और यदि A और V का साइन ऑपोजिट है तो स्पीड कम होगी. इन फर्स्ट केस दे हैव द सेम साइन, सो स्पीड विल इंक्रीज. सो वी हैव दीज टू ऑप्शंस. In second, opposite sign, so the speed will decrease. So they are having opposite signs, so speed will decrease. So decreasing option, we have these two. Again in the third one, they have opposite signs, so speed will be decreasing. So it would be this one only now. So go for option C. Always remember, if A and V in 1D motion have same sign, you have speed increasing. If they have opposite sign, the speed will be decreasing. So these were your doubts that I tried to take. If still there is some confusion, we can take it up in class, and I am putting it in a public platform so that others can also benefit from these questions. So those who are watching it on this public platform, please take the screenshot in the starting of the question, try to attempt, and then watch these questions. Thank you.